It's not the party that's corrupt, it is the system. Once we get rid of the system, we'll stop corruption. Well, we'll stop about 90% of the current corruption.
Through the noise we hear the bits, a rhythm pure and true. The F.O.C.C, a different direction to a short future.
Today I'm going to make a statement right in the beginning. It's not the party that's corrupt, it is the system. Once we get rid of the system, we'll stop corruption. Well, we'll stop about 90% of the current corruption. The system was designed by the ANC, so inherently it should be corrupt. But all the other parties adapt this system, and corruption will never stop until we change the system back to a democratic system that we wanted in the early 90s. This is an issue that I'm very passionate about, because I believe a lot of our problems start with our local authorities. Our local authorities are corrupt and undemocratic, and I'll tell you why I say so. There are two big reasons. The one is we've got an overinflated council made in such a way to overshadow the democratically elected ward councillors, the ones that were put there by the community to oversee the services being delivered. The second is, it is an executive mayoral council, meaning that the mayor and a selected few people, selected not elected, have direct say in what's happening in the doings of the municipality. With their fingers in the pie is where all the problems start. And that we need to stop. And nobody talks about this. The politicians certainly don't talk about it. The political parties don't talk about it, because when they get elected, they get absolute power, and they don't want to give that away. They don't want a democracy. They don't want a democratic system. So, how does this work? First of all, when elections come, then a certain political party wins. They appoint a mayor, which becomes an executive mayor. Then a mayoral committee is appointed, not elected, is appointed by this mayor. This mayoral committee may take about 75% of the decisions of the council. They call it streamlining, but in fact that is just a cover for being undemocratic. Because the way a democracy works, or a multi-party democracy works, is you've got an open council where all the councillors have a vote on all the issues, from big to small, from moving a lamppost to financial matters. In this way, they grab onto all the important things and they make decisions about it. An appointed mayoral committee. The first corruption comes there. So if I am from an opposition party, I can be bought. For instance, they can say, listen, you're from that party, but I'll appoint you on the mayoral committee if you come over to our party. They win seats like that. That is the first big problem I have with our councils. The second thing is, our councils exist only half of elected officials. The rest are also appointed. We've got proportional councillors. So they look at how many votes each party got, and they get allocated more councillors. Unelected officials. In the city of Cape Town, I live in the Cape Town area, there are 115 unelected officials being paid by the taxpayer to do heaven knows what. That is half the council. So half the council are not elected. The mayoral committee are not elected for the purpose that they're going to do, it is not democratic at all. You've got a mayoral committee that can take most of the decisions, and you've got a council that's going to vote. That is, half of them are not even elected councillors, and half of them are drawing salaries. Well, the other problem is, in a democracy, there's a clear line between the legislator and the executive. So the people that makes the decisions about what needs to be done are not the people that are going to do it. The people that are going to do it are qualified people that build careers around their specific jobs. You've got engineers, you've got very qualified people that must do those things. The people making the decisions of what needs to be done are the people that we were supposed to vote in. So we get a council, the council decides, listen here, we need more roads in this part of the town, and they budget for it, and they tell the engineers that we need more roads. The whole process of doing that is not part of the council. It is part of a system that is already there. But what happens now is you've got an executive council, an executive mayoral committee that can put their finger in that pie. They can make decisions. They can make decisions about who is appointed. They can pressure for other decisions, but they have their finger in the pie at the moment, and that leads to a lot of corruption. You cannot have that. That also leads to inefficiency, because you've got a person with no qualifications taking decisions about something he doesn't know anything about. It is a recipe for disaster. So it is the system that is corrupt, and the parties that come in adopt the system. It is a design by the ANC. Of course it is corrupt. But when other parties take over, they just take over the system, and they take over the corruption, and it's not going to get better until we change that system back to a democratic system. We must send that 115 useless, unelected councillors back to their homes. They can go do something else. First of all, we must make that line very clear between the legislator and the executive, or the people that's going to do the job. And if that line is not very clear, we're always going to have corruption. There can be 10 parties saying we'll stop corruption. It will never stop until we do that. And this is something we need to talk about. And this is something we need to pressure the municipalities about. Because this is the problem. Not the parties. This is the problem. It's the system. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
The F.O.C.C, a different